Today, our evenings are often defined by isolated glows. We sit in dark rooms, captivated by an endless scroll that keeps our focus entirely solitary. Rewind 40 years, and that digital silence disappears. It's the 1980s, a decade without mobile phones or the internet. People have much less money, yet life is lived entirely in the physical world, on crowded streets and front porches. It leads to a persistent question. Why does an era with so few modern conveniences still evoke such a powerful emotional response from those who lived through it? To find the answer, we have to step back into a single, ordinary day in 1980, a time when networking was a physical act and creativity was born out of necessity. The day began with sensory details that a modern bathroom simply can't replicate. You'd brush with Dauber tooth powder until your fingers and gums were stained bright red, followed by the heavy medicinal scent of a classic red bar of Lifebuoy soap. Even basic hygiene was a DIY process. Grandmothers would hold a metal cadrota over an open flame, catching the soot to create homemade kajal for the family. At school, the lessons were often supplemented by a bit of student superstition. Children would carefully tuck a single peacock feather inside their textbooks, believing it possessed the power to attract knowledge directly into their minds. These morning routines were slower, tactile rituals, rooted in the patience and care of the people living under the same roof. When school let out, the neighborhood became a workshop. Without the budget for store-bought toys, kids repurposed whatever was lying around, crafting ride-on carts from scrap wood and the rubber from broken slippers. Even a discarded bottle cap was a raw material. You'd hammer it flat, punch 2 holes through the center, and thread a string through to create a high-speed, buzzing spinner. Playtime was a gritty, physical reality. You'd run through overgrown fields, picking up prickly seeds that stuck to your clothes, only to pull them off and sneakily press them into a friend's hair during a game of street cricket. Around Diwali, the stakes grew higher as kids pleaded for cap guns to fuel neighborhood-wide games of cops and robbers. Because every toy had to be built or bargained for with friends, the act of playing became a foundation for an incredibly tight-knit community. As darkness fell, the family gathered around the intense, hissing light of a kerosene lantern. Everyone knew to stay back. The internal mantle was so fragile that even a small bump could break it. Then came the primary entertainment of the evening, the struggle for a clear television signal. A simple gust of wind was enough to turn the picture into a screen of static. Fixing it was a loud, coordinated effort. One person would climb to the roof to rotate the metal rods by hand, while the rest of the family shouted directions from the living room until the image finally snapped back into place. If the TV failed, you turned to the radio or the 2-in-1 tape deck. You'd click a physical cassette into place and listen to the same songs until the tape eventually wore thin. In this era, watching a show or hearing a song was an active event that demanded patience and the cooperation of everyone in the house. These memories are anchored in the small joys that cost almost nothing, buying red churn pellets that stained your tongue, or finding a water ring game at a local fair for a few paise. Today, those same neighborhood streets are often quiet and empty, even though our homes are filled with more technology than we could have ever imagined in 1980. Wrestling with a rooftop antenna or building a toy out of trash functioned as community building in disguise. While we now possess flawless 4K signals and instant digital connections, the simple art of finding joy in scraps and shared effort remains a lost treasure,